Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final team in the draft review series presented by Deep Fried Draft. My name is Brian Bosarge. We finish up the NFC West now with the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle better this year than they have been in my past draft reviews. I haven't always been a big fan of what Seattle's done. They had the biggest one, probably. It wasn't the highest value swing in the first round. That goes to Terrell Edmonds, but I had actually heard scuttlebutt that Terrell Edmonds would go in the first round. I didn't believe it, but I had at least heard that. I had never heard Rashaad Penny's name at all mentioned as a first round pick. Seattle traded back from 18 to 27 with Green Bay, and they end up taking Rashaad Penny, running back for San Diego State. Now, let me preface this by saying I really love Rashaad Penny as a player. I think he's great. 2,000-yard rusher this past season. One of the best kick return men in the country the last 2 years. Catches the ball, runs routes like a receiver. I mean, tremendous all around. Even faster than I thought he would be. To be honest, I was probably lower on Rashaad Penny than I should have been, having a second round grade on him. But I think if you're a fantasy football player, I think he's a guy you should probably like, especially if you're in a league of dummies. Maybe fourth round if you can sneak him on that way in your fantasy drafts. I know I'm targeting him there. I think he's a guy that's gonna win games for you in fantasy this year, and he's a candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year in my opinion. Rasheem Green, defensive lineman, Southern Cal. Junior early entry, probably a good 5-tech player. Could play defensive end for Seattle and a 43 kick inside on pass rush downs. I think he's got good pass rush ability. Their 4th round pick, Will Dissly, tight end from Washington, can't catch a cold, but blocks like an extra tackle. Everybody knows about the great story of Shaheen Griffin. Lost his hand at a early age because of embryonic band syndrome or something. I'm sorry, I know I butchered that name, but something happened while he was in utero. But goes to the combine, runs 4.32, tested very well, highly productive player the last 2 years. Had a great week at the Senior Bowl. At worst, I think Shaheen Griffin's going to be one of the best special teams players for Seattle, if not the league. At best, I think he's going to be a sub-package pass rusher that can offer you versatility as a chess piece on defense. Really love the pick for Seattle of Trey Flowers, corner from Oklahoma, or he was a safety at Oklahoma State. I think he plays corner for Seattle because he's what they love as a corner, 6'3", long arms, can run. I think he's a guy that I think could actually be a potential down the road starter at corner for Seattle. They draft a punter in the 5th round. They traded up to actually draft a punter in the 5th round, Michael Dixon from Texas. Early entrant punter. If you're drafting a punter in the 5th round, he's going to be your starting punter. Dixon was the MVP of the Texas Bowl, had 11 punts in that game, down 10 inside the 10-yard line. It's friggin' crazy, one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Their other 5th round pick, which they had 4, Jamar Jones, offensive tackle from Ohio State. I actually thought Jones would probably go in the 2nd round because of the lack of offensive tackle prospects in this draft. I had a 3rd round grade on Jones. He ends up going here in the 5th, so this was the best value pick for the Seahawks by far. Jones has starter potential down the road as an offensive tackle. He's not there yet. He's a really raw project, gets overextended on a lot of plays, gets beat. But I think down the road, Jones is a tremendous value for Seattle, as he could be a potential left tackle in the future for them. Edge rusher Jacob Martin from Temple was a 6th round pick. He had a good pro day, which kind of put him on the radar here. And their 7th round pick, quarterback from FIU, Alex Magoo. Now let me say this. I watched a lot of FIU games this year to watch their tight end, Pharaoh McKeever, which I talked about earlier with Pittsburgh. And during the time watching McKeever play for FIU, at no point did I watch that and say, yeah, this quarterback, Alex Magoo, he's an NFL guy. At no point did I think that. So I'm a little surprised he got drafted, but I had heard he had a lot of visits before the draft, so I knew it was a possibility. But athletically, he fits what Seattle looks for in a quarterback, so I could see the fit there. But and I think maybe they drafted him here in the 7th round just to keep from having to compete with teams as an undrafted player, which is what a lot of teams do in the 7th round. They just draft guys they don't want to have to try to hustle and sign, which is smart because, like I said, most 7th round picks don't make rosters. They got a solid edge rusher as an undrafted free agent, Jacob Pugh from Florida State. I like Poona Ford, defensive lineman from Texas, under sub 6 foot defensive linemen usually don't make it in the league, but Poona Ford, tremendous player with good hustle. Look out for Marcus Martin, fullback from Slippery Rock. He was one of the best pass rushers in Division II, but converted to fullback while he was at the Shrine game because of his size. A couple other players, edge rusher from Missouri, Marcel Frazier. Also, best long snapper in the draft, Tanner Carew. I would be shocked if he's not the Seattle long snapper when they're on their 53-man roster. Total value grade for Seattle, 21st. Average pick value, 18th. Their money value picks end up 17th. So that concludes the 2018 Draft Review Series. Hope you watched all 32 team videos. If not, go back and do it. What the hell are you waiting on? What else you got to do? They're like 5-6 minutes long a piece. Kill a couple hours. You dig? Leave some comments. Thanks for watching. Good night.